Stop waiting around for your job to acknowledge you. Hey y'all, welcome back to the 90-day grind. And I want to talk to you all really quickly because there was been something on my mind and I hadn't figured out the right way to say it until I saw this post on LinkedIn where this young lady said, take accountability for your own life, and everything within your life, including your job, is going to change. And that is exactly what I wanted to say to everyone here. And I just love that she said that because I remember when I was 23 years old and I had got an eviction from my apartment and I needed to make $10,000 in like 4 months. And I could only work a job that was paying me $13 an hour because I had no experience. Like, I couldn't think of anywhere else to work. But see, the caveat to that was this particular warehouse, it would allow me to work as many hours as I wanted. So I said, this is what I'm going to do. I came up with a plan, meaning I took accountability. I was like, I messed up. I have sit here messed up. I didn't pay my rent. I got eviction. Now I'm living in a situation where I'm not really happy. So, and I know that this particular warehouse is going to let me get as many hours as I want. I'm going to start January 1st, right? They didn't let me start exactly January 1st. It was like the second week in January. But anyway, I said I'm going to start in January, and I'm going to give myself 4 months to pay this $10,000 debt off. And every single week, I'm going to put $800 to $1,000 down. If that meant that I could only afford a $5 meal, that meant that could only afford soup, then guess what? That's what I was going to do. And that's exactly what I did. So literally the job paid me every single week and I was so grateful for that. But y'all, when I say I was working 14, 15-hour shifts, y'all, I would come in and I ain't gonna lie, I was breaking the rules sometimes. I would start working in one department, max out my hours, wait an hour, on my break, go on my little switch break, then go work another 8 to 10 hours. The company could have definitely got in trouble, but it was that type of company where they didn't really monitor the hours like that, right? And y'all, I was bringing home $1,500 every week. And I was so exhausted, so tired. But I said, you know what? I know for a fact this is not where I want to be. I know I hate this job. I was crying, walking down the hill to this job because I hated it so much. But I said, this is not going to be a forever thing. If I can just make it for the next 4 months, if I can just cans of soup and $5 meals, for the next 4 months, I can pay off my debt. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't complain about how much I hate my job. I did complain about how much I hated my job because I did hate it. But I didn't let that complaining stop me from actually working the job. And what I essentially learned was that I didn't hate the job. I was actually really thankful for the job because if it wasn't for that actual job, I don't know where I would have been trying to pay off my debt. No McDonald's, no Taco Bell, no Burger King, no other job would have let me max as many hours as I did there. So that allowed me to have a mindset shift and say, you know what, this job isn't a hindrance, this job is actually a blessing. And a lot of us, we are working jobs that we feel like we are miserable and it's a hindrance and our boss doesn't acknowledge us and we're not getting ahead in life. But the thing is, what goals do you have, right? And then ask yourself, how are you working at this job? How is this job helping you reach that goal? Every single paycheck you have should be helping you reach whatever goal you have. And if your goal is, I just need to get food on the table, I just need to be able to pay my car note, I just need to be able to do X, Y, and Z, then I'm going to ask you, why do you have such small goals? And I consider those goals small because if the only thing you want to do is get food on your table, then you should love that job. If your goal isn't, okay, this job is helping me so that I can pay off a debt so I can get to a better place, so I can get a car, or so I can get, pay for college, or so that I can put my kids in a private school. If you're currently working a job and it's not helping you so that you can level up, then I'm going to ask you to actually rethink your goals. Because the whole reason I worked at that warehouse was so that I could get an apartment in a better area. In an area where I could have bus transportation. I had a car at the time, but I had bus transportation. I was around a shopping center. It was just a better area. Plus, it made it so that I didn't have to live off of nobody, number one. I didn't have that debt, which was killing my credit. I couldn't get good credit cards. I couldn't get another car, which I literally needed. About a year after I paid off my debt, I literally, y'all, ran my whole engine out. Like my engine broke down on the side of the road, like kaput. But thank God for me paying that debt off, working at that job that I quoted made it seem like it was such a miserable job, although it was a blessing because I used that job for my advantage. So I also want to say this. What also helped me was the fact that I didn't wait around for nobody to acknowledge anything. I knew that I had to go out there and get it. This one guy, he used to say, it's time to get up and go chase the chicken. He used to say that. He said, okay, time to go chase the chicken. And he was a guy who was from jail. And I thought that was so funny because just the way he said it, like, he was like, all right now, he had this deep old brawly voice. He was like, it's time to get up and go chase the chicken. And I'm like, what? And he meant it's time to get up and go to work. It's time to get up there and make sure you get what you need done. So with me, knowing that I needed to work that many hours, knowing that I had a goal I had to meet, I made sure anything I did, I got acknowledged. And it wasn't to the point where I'm kissing ass, like, oh my God, I'm doing this better than that person. No, it was, hey, team lead, you see I did that. Hey, team lead, when can you check me on this? Hey, team lead, I need to go over there. Where's the boss at? Like, it was to the point where I wasn't sitting around waiting for nobody to acknowledge anything. I was acknowledging it and showing it to people's faces. And a lot of people, by the end of when I left that job, right, they was like, oh my God, Twinkle can come in and do whatever she wants. Twinkle can, if I wish I could walk in and walk out whenever I wanted. And that was kind of the situation. Like, if my shift started at 7, sometimes I wouldn't come in till 8 or 9. And it was after I worked that job for about 6 months, because I worked it after I paid off my debt too. And it was because I had shown every single team lead and manager there that I was going to do my job. And I was going to go above and beyond. And I wasn't a troublemaker. I was there keeping my mouth shut, doing my job. Like, if they needed me to come in and work extra, if they needed me to stay late, if they needed me to go work in a different department, if they needed me to do whatever it was, I was down to do it because I had a goal in mind. I don't care what nobody else think. This job has helped me so I can pay off my debt. This job has helped me so I can get a better car. This job has helped me so I can get through college. Like, when I took accountability and said that in order for me to get ahead, I have to prove myself at this job, and I started doing that, that is when things started changing in my life. And I'm saying that because as a hiring manager, one of the young ladies that we had worked for us, and it's like, she ended up going to work for a different company, and it kills me to this day, y'all. But I mean, this girl's getting paid like $3,000 a week. So I'm like, yo, do you? She came into our company, and literally within 2 weeks, she said, this is how I can bring in more money for the company and do my job. I'm going to do sales. I'm going to do billing. And I'm going to also do payroll. What? Trust me, y'all. We still trying to figure out, okay, how much we need to pay her to get her to come back? Because she came in here and she not only proved herself, but she showed how she can bring in revenue to the company. It's like she set the bar so high for other employees that come in. But I want to just make this video and say, if you hate your job, look at your situation and say, okay, do I hate my job because my job is actually I'm miserable and nobody's acknowledging me, and I'm working as hard as I can and I'm taking all the steps to get acknowledged, but they're not doing it? Or do you hate your job because you're not actually showing up anymore? You're burnt out, you're tired, you're exhausted, you don't see any way you can level up? Because there are some jobs that are a dead end. Like, I've worked at a call center, and I realized that, yeah, this job is a dead end. I'm not going anywhere. The only place time I am going to go somewhere is if I get a better education. And that may be the case for a lot of you all. You can't level up, and you are at a stopping point because you don't have the education to take you to the next level. I remember I did an interview with this one girl, and she was job hopping left and right. And when I asked her why was she job hopping so much, she said, well, when I feel like I'm at a plateau, I just move on to the next job. And she said, is that going to happen here? I said, well, the only thing that's going to stop you from leveling up and becoming a senior accountant, and becoming an accountant period, or a bookkeeper, or a tax preparer, or, anything here is your education. Do you have an accounting degree? Do you have a CPA degree? Do you have QuickBooks degree? A certificate. Like, what education do you have? Because we only put people in these positions that have the education to back it up. That is the only thing that's going to stop you from leveling up in this company. Other than that, you could be a salesperson and make more than a boss. You want to do sales? Like, there are some situations where you are your worst enemy and you are the one that's stopping yourself from succeeding. So take accountability, take a step back first, take accountability, and then say, okay, this is what I need to do to level up. Follow for more.